noise here going on. Greetings, everyone. We're back with part two of our broadcast today from Matters of the Heart Radio Ministry with your radio host, personality, Princess Denise Wright. Today in the studio with me, I want to take this time to introduce to you my two special guests. Mrs. Mattie Wright, that resides here in the great city of Saint Petersburg, Florida, and her daughter, Mrs. Patricia Stubbins. What a blessing to have mother and daughter in the studio with me this afternoon. And for the next 20-25 minutes, we are going to be interviewing Mrs. Wright. And that name sounds familiar. It seems like I think that's what my last name is. Right. So familiar. I love that name, Mrs. Mattie Wright. So, yes. And you know what? She probably is some kin to me somewhere way down the line. You know, sometimes people, we don't know all our people.
Right.
So, yes, yes,
Right.
yes. So, we're in for a good time today. She's going to share some information with you about her life and her legacy. You know, a lot of times, many of us are sitting around talking about, oh, I ain't got no talent. God ain't gave me no gifts. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't know. Maybe I'll get there one day, but right now, I'm not there. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes people just don't even want to make a difference in anything that they're doing at all, helping people or just assisting someone with something that you may have some talent and you don't even want to give up that, like, oh well, I would tell you how to do it, how much you gonna pay me. So many people out there just wasting their time on nothing and thinking that they don't have any worth at all, and it's plenty of them that feel that they don't have any worth at all, that they're just lazy. They're feeling like, well, I'm just too ugly. I ain't gonna never mount anything. My mama said that I was not gonna mount anything. I look just like my dad, and I'm just that. So, but today you're gonna hear of this lady when I was talking to her this week, just telling me just things that she was just involved in. So I want you to listen. So just in case you decide today you're going to get up from that sofa and think about putting your life in the right direction, that yes, I can do something, I can become something, because God got plans for all of us. I'm in the studio today as a radio host personality for 16 years, and I'm so glad that God ordained this ministry, August of 2004. What a blessing, what a blessing. I never knew that I would become a radio host personality. But until the Holy Spirit told me, yes, I have opened this door for you. You have just graduated to another level, and there I went. So I'm so thankful because I have interviewed hundreds of people for the last 16 years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and it's been a blessing. It's been interesting. It's been a journey, and I thank God for that right now. So right now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you at this time Mrs. Mattie Wright, and I'm going to let her open up with whatever the Lord puts in her spirit to start talking about what she has done and what she's believing God right now, what she wants to continue to do in Jesus' name. All right, Miss Mattie Wright, we want
Oh,
to give
thank you.
you
I'm
welcome.
happy to have this opportunity to tell the so many of the young people the things that I had to go through to get where I am. As I stated before, we own 17 houses, and we bought that many houses so we could control who lived in the neighborhood. And we did a fantastic job of doing that. The neighbors always said I represent the south side of St. Pete. But I have three children, two girls. One is here with me, and I have a son. And I think they're special. They're so special. They're children that I planned for all my life, even when I didn't have anything. I just thought about when I get these children and I got
When you get these children.
what we gonna do. Well, the Pat was the first one. She's here with me today, and she wasn't a baby long. She started walking at exactly 7 months.
That sound like a smart baby.
She was a smart baby, but I tell her all the time, you still not as smart as your mama. But it's been a pleasure having them. I look at children now and I think it's so sad the way children are being treated. Um, they're being abused or neglected or whatever. But God gave everybody a gift, and people mostly don't know how to use it, when to use it, or what to do with the gift that God had given them.
Yes.
But he said to me one day, I got a gift for you. No, not me, Lord. That's what I said. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to do it. So I did. I made up my mind. So I was working for the county. I decided I would stop working for pay and just volunteer. I felt like I could collect more. My daughter was in school, in high school. She was tutoring people in college, and I was doing little children.
Mm-hmm.
Little children has always been my thing, but she was doing children at college. I remember a lady asked me, can I get your daughter to help me? I said, I always tell people, you have to talk to them. I can't answer for them, now they're grown. I can't tell you what they can do with their time. I wish I could, but I can't. They, they really got to the point, they remind me a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do, I just say, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I don't argue with them. I don't, try not to fight with them. And she does a lot. She has a lot of jobs, and she tried to take care of all of us. Well, I just asked her to go everywhere with me,
And just carried her with you, huh?
Yeah, just come on and go with me. I'm getting old. You know that. But I enjoyed writing. I was a writer. I went to England with a group from USF. I went to USF.
All right, now, okay.
So I went to England, and I was the only black person in the group. But I had the best time in the world. It was so nice.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes.
I
and,
know.
we flew all night, and they tried to get me to stand up, but I wouldn't. I stayed in the seat all night long, so we got ready to get off. They almost had to get a wheelchair to get me off. We got to England, and we went to churches, and we had great fun. They had a nice party for me up in England. And when we on our return trip, I got lost from the group. It was about 8 of us.
Miss Wright, don't even tell me that. First, I want to tell you, while you were talking, I decided to put on my mask. Let me tell you what this representing. I'm just showing everybody through this video that in this studio, we practice social distances and we wear our mask. So I only just put it on to show people when they look at this video, we are complying with the rules, okay?
Okay.
Just sending a message via this radio program. So that was why.
Well, thank you. I have 3 masks, but I took them off. I carry around with me everywhere we go. My daughter takes hers too. She has a mask for the whole family. She got them for the whole family. But it's been a pleasure, just volunteered, I got the key to the city. I got so many awards.
We're going to go right back here with your trip to London, England. It's amazing you said that because when I went, I got separated from my group. It was my pastor because we had been on a mission trip to Amsterdam and Holland. And we always be working right up to the last minute. And the pastor this time he decided to say, okay, we're going to give you all a vacation days of 2 days that you can spend in London, England, and just shop and do whatever you want to do. that was a blessing because we always usually work up to the last minute wherever we go. In Poland, Austria, everywhere that I've been, it just was amazing. And so it just I was crossing the street. We was at Buckingham Palace, and I was following my group, and it just looked like all of a sudden about 30 or 40 uh, Asians just just bogarted and rushed right in front of me, and they just kept pushing me, bite, 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 as far as I could go. And so I got separated from the group because when my group crossed the street, I didn't know whether they went to the right or they went to the left, and I could not tell because all these people, Asians, in front of me, about a good 50, 60 of them, and so I was lost for hours. But I'm not going to go through the whole thing about what happened, but I knew that the enemy would have been glad that I had never connected again with my pastor in that group. But God worked it out through my faith. It was a journey because a lot of bad things almost could have happened to me by the way that people were directing me where to go and trying to isolate me. But I just kept walking in faith, and God made sure finally somebody came along that said, okay, I can take you where you need to go to your hotel. It was 45 minutes away from Buckingham Palace, but I told them I need to get there. When we get there, I can give you whatever what you're asking for, the pounds that you need. But right now, I don't have it all, but God made a way. So I'm not going to take up your time talking about that trip. We'll talk about it another time, but
Okay.
you go right ahead.
Well, I got lost. I got off the train at the wrong time. The rest of the group stayed on, and I got off. Well, they kept going, and so I just started walking. I got to one of the little station houses, and the man there said, please, please wait here. We got a bulletin out all over the country trying to find you. Please don't go.
Yes.
Well, I was having so much fun. I really thought I didn't want to come back to Florida, but I knew I had a family. So back to the United States, but I had a family, and I had to get back. So I just finally sit to one of the station houses, and he kept begging. They kept, please don't go. And I heard somebody whistle. I mean, it looked like it was from here to 34th Street, and it was the man that come from USF. He was a journalist at USF. He was whistling for me, please don't leave. Well, I got back on the train, but I wasn't worried, they'll find me. If they don't, I just stay longer. But I knew that would be I got to visit the Buckingham Palace, the changing of the guards. The cathedral was lined with silver. Looked like they were 100 feet in the air, but they were lined with gold. I couldn't believe it.
It was amazing.
I took pictures of everything I did. They were buying souvenirs, but I was taking pictures and collecting rocks and flags and everything else. So I made a little set up at the house or the place that we went. And but I told them, I said, I want to see all I can because this is going to be the last time I come to England. And I know it will.
That's amazing.
I know it's going to be the last time. But the way I got there, I just bunch of people, I heard that they were going. I said, well, I'm going too. I don't know anybody. And I didn't know a soul that I went with. But they was great. They were really good to me, and I really thought I didn't. And it's just been times that I worked with the police department here in Saint Pete. I got a little great grandchild that my daughter adopted, and I worked along with them. And he said that he was going to be a policeman and the next black president.
All right now.
So I said to him, well, your grandmama won't be around to see that. And his principal, he was telling the principal said, you don't know, you will. I said, well, who do you think I am, Methuselah? You think I'm going to live forever? I'm not going to be around when he get president. He probably going to be about 38 years old. And but it just been a pleasure just living here in St. Pete. wouldn't think of going nowhere else. I think about the places that I helped integrate. I remember I was about 15 years old and I had a job downtown running the elevator, and you walk into the arcade, you walk in and the, to the Web City. There were two fountains. It said colored and white. And I waited till the people was getting off the bus on 9th Street and getting off the elevator, and I walked over and proceeded to drink out of the white fountain. I said, "Oh, I want to see what this white water tastes like." So when I did, a lady walked over, a little old lady walked, and she took off out a handkerchief, and she started dusting the fountain where I had drank out of it. So she said to me, "There's your fountain over there." I say, "Where? You know I can't read." And I left that store, but I didn't go back because I thought the police was going to arrest me when I went back. But when I went back, it must have been about a month later. They had removed the sign, black and colored, and they had only one fountain there, and I was free to drink out of that one. But I thought that's what they were going to do. They were going to arrest me for drinking out that fountain. So many, but they did.
What year was that?
I can't remember because I was only about 15 years old.
Yeah, the reason I was asking because I know when I was about same age, I guess I could have been 14. Same thing. My mom had died at age 29, and I was 11. And I remember going. We lived in Tallahassee. Then we went to stay with my grandma, and I remember going into this gas station, and me and my friend. It was on a hot, sunny day in August, I think, way back, probably 1960 something. Okay, so I walked in. I turned the fountain with the little handle there from the water fountain. I went to put my head up there to drink, and the gas station attendant walked behind me, and he said the N word.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Niggers cannot drink from this fountain." So when he said that, I was wondering, like, I had never heard that word before.
Oh.
I was like, what? The schools were all predominantly black. All your teachers are black. So you didn't have white teachers sitting there talking about just telling us that we just colored people. That's what we were called then.
Colored people.
Colored people.
Right.
You weren't saying you black. You just colored people.
Colored
okay.
people.
And so he said, you can't drink from this fountain. And so all of a sudden, I guess I had a moment like Miss Jane Pittman. I was like, I am thirsty. I am going to drink from this fountain. So I went ahead and drank. So I drank the water. And so he was still standing behind me. So I asked my friend, Marilyn, you want to get some water? And she shook her head. So when I got ready to leave out the gas station, I turned around, and quite naturally, I'm backing up. I'm looking at him, and I'm backing up out of the door, not walking straight forward. I'm backing up because I'm thinking he is about to grab me and do something, and my friend ain't gonna be able to help me. And even though it was midday, I just backed up and then got outside a little bit, still backing up, walking down the sidewalk until I could get further down, and then we turned around and then ran for our lives, because that is what you dealt with in them days. And where my grandmama lived, it was 30 miles from Alabama. So she lived in that little small town. But it reminded me that when you just said that, because it was when people are telling you can't drink from, and then calling you something, a word you never heard before. Like, what? I never heard, but I knew it was something bad.
Right. That's right.
I knew it was bad just the way he said it, but I had never heard that word spoken to us in school, in church, or nothing. It just overtook me. I just could not believe it. And I still remember it, even though that was about 50 some years ago.
Well, I still do. I did the counters at Chris and Wal McCory,
Mm-hmm.
where you couldn't sit down and drink. One of them you could stand up and have a hot dog and a drink, but you couldn't sit down. But I went in and sit down on this one end, and a waitress came over and said, "You can't sit here." So I said, "Oh, well, thank you." I got up and went and sit on the other end. I said, "How about here?" Well, they gave me a coat, I guess, just to get me to go. But it was never no fighting. I did that with City Hall. I just, I don't know, uh, just City Hall. Everybody think I own City Hall, but I went to City Hall, and the first time I went there, there no applause for nothing. So they did something. Corrine Freeman was mayor then,
I remember
and
her.
and I clapped. Listen, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave if you clap again. That's what she said to me. I said, "No, you won't, cause I'm going anyway." So I went out one door, went round, and come back in. I said, "Hey, I'm back." I got to be her favorite
Customer.
favorite person at City Hall. But I
Oh.
refused to be pushed around, anything, you know. And I didn't I wasn't afraid. I don't know why I wasn't afraid. I guess I just didn't have sense enough to be afraid.
See, just like I didn't. I didn't know what that man was talking about. I had never heard that word before.
Well, you know, and I did the same thing in Lakewood. We was taking computer classes. They was just say, computers gonna be the way of the world after a while. Well, I went in, and the African American people or the colored people would have to come in the afternoon because they had to work in the morning. Well, I wouldn't go in with the black. It was all blacks in that class. So I said, "Well, I'm not going over there. I'm the only one in the white class." And they were standing in the door looking her over in there. So they asked me to read something because I was going to U.S. to take. I was taking. My instructor was out of town. I had to mail the assignments in. And I got some language that I didn't quite understand from a teacher, so I read the instructor asked me to read it, so I read it, and he corrected some word. I missed the A, and it should have been an I. And he kept repeating it. He wanted me to repeat it. I said, "Well, you repeat it. I don't have to." So, but I didn't really know anything about a computer. Never had one. I didn't get one till I think my daughter got I know she did. She got my first computer. And, but then they were doing giving us the instruction. They assigned me to some lady that works for some company that worked nothing with computers. And everybody turned on the computer but me, and I didn't want them to know I didn't know how to turn the computer on. So I asked the instructor if I could go to the office to get me a book. So I went and got the book, and I was sitting up there reading the book. A little lady reached over and she said, "Mattie, you so interested in books, you didn't even turn your computer on." And she turned it on. I said, "You know, you're right." Thank you. I said to myself, "Thank you for showing me."
You know, and I want to see what your daughter has to say. I just want to know if she can just tell us one thing that she admires so much about her mother. Because I'm doing a little test here. When I get through with this program today, when my sister asked me, "Okay, did you put your mask on any time during your program?" My answer will be yes. So I'm running a little test while you talking, Miss Mattie. Just saying, okay, I was able to do this and see how it is that you're talking through a mask while you're trying to do your radio program. So it's gonna be history for me today. So I'll make that short. So thank you, Patricia. Can you make us a comment today about your mom, about her legacy?
Yes, I can. I'm a like my mom in certain aspects, and different also. What I get from my mom is courage, and also the will to help others. But what I don't have is my mother can tell a story, and I don't. I'm really kind of laid back and kind of shy, But what I like is that my mother can tell a story to my boys when I cannot tell that story. At least they know that legacy from her and not from me.
Yes.
Because that's what I feel. I feel that young people now, they don't know that part of history because we're not taught in school about a lot of the intimate things, like from a family. About how she tells us about when she has two sisters, how it was when they were younger, and how they grew up, and the things that when my parents married, the things that they had to endure in order to get where they got, like she was saying, the 17 properties. I know that story, and I may not tell my boys, but she does tell them.
She gotta keep that legacy going,
She
just
does.
like Kunta Kinte.
Exactly. Exactly.
You gotta keep the story going so your people will know that we have value, what we have done, that we're just not nobodies and not amounting to anything. And that's the good thing about it. People just, because a lot of our family, our children don't even know about our legacy, nothing.
Correct.
They don't even know our history
That's
at
right.
all. So it is good when you keep the story going on and on and on and on. Let me check the time. How many more minutes?
One.
Okay. Well, we about to wrap it up. Okay, one quick comment before we close it out, because I'm so thankful to you, Patricia, and Miss Mattie for coming in today, and hopefully we can get you to come back another time and finish talking some more with us. But we're you hate to end it, but we got to get out of here.
Thank you.
Anything?
Thank you.
Any last good comment? 30 seconds, Miss Wright.
I want to thank my daughter. I want to thank you for inviting. I want to thank my daughter for coming. She doesn't ever refuse. Whenever I say, "Can you?" She have to get off from work. She would do.
Well, thank you so much.
yeah.
It's been a pleasure talking to you this week, and see, it was worth it to let you know. Yes, you do need to come and let us know what your life has been about for the last 30 plus, 40 plus years or whatever. Is great, and I'm so thankful to have you all today.
And I'm a writer, so I'm gonna do some of the. I got published too in '84. Best Poets of '84. Maybe sometime I can do some of the writing.
Okay. Well, I'll be getting back with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Well, with that being said, I want to thank you all today for tuning in. And Matters of the Heart Radio Ministries broadcasted here second Saturday of the month, sometime the third Saturday. Just depends on whether we have to reschedule. So thank God for the general manager, Donald Jackson. Thank God for my videographer, Mr. Al Christopher, and my little grandson Jeffrey that was here with Grandmama today. So if you want to schedule a radio interview with me, please call me at 727-488-8818. Until then, we're out of here. Be blessed.
You have been listening to the radio broadcast of Matters